He's deep cover. Last I heard, he's tracking the syndicate.
Yeah, last I heard he was 3 over par.
Last I heard, sounded like someone torturing kittens.
Last I heard, my gym makes money.
I heard 5.
You heard wrong.
You heard him. Those were his last words.
Last I'd heard, he'd been defeated again.
Last I heard, Joe coaches women's wrestling. POTUS is a win?
Yeah, last I heard.
I heard that.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from around the world. Once again, we are rejoined with the entire Gridiron Gang here with the Last I Heard crew. I am Lee Dempsey, your host, along with Joshua Winch, Travis Rankins. It's great to see you boys once again as we wrap up the wonderful Week 10 in the NFL season, looking into Week 11. Lots of great games, lots of crazy games going on. Some successful picks. I think we did all fairly well this week for pick wise. Some better than others. This guy. We're gonna recap some of those games, some of the big ones, some of the surprising ones, and of course the ones that are all true faithful that we are fans of, and most of the listeners of the show are the Packer fans, the Viking fans. Lesser of some, more of others. But hey, we're going to give it our best shot here. We're improving every day, every week, as we say. Boys, just to get into it right away, we had some news. We had some news that occurred today in November, the day, the 15th of November. Deshaun Watson is now out for the rest of the season. Gets a high ankle sprain in the game against Baltimore in their W, and also a broken collarbone is what I was hearing. Played through it for 2.5 quarters. Fairly impressive for what we think of that man. Still give him credit for playing for the rest of that game, but hey, that sucks for the Browns big time. And other news. Ken Dorsey gets fired, the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. After a straight debacle that the Buffalo Bills seem to be after Week 10, it's kind of been leading up to this. No one really thought it'd fall on Ken Dorsey, and his job. Doesn't seem like the right guy to blame for that. I don't know if you guys want to get right into that one, but I think it's kind of the biggest news of the week so far. What are your guys' thoughts?
I mean, I think he was 100% a scapegoat. If that guy misses that kick and they don't have a penalty, they win the game, right? So then does Ken Dorsey get fired? No. Exactly. So a play that didn't even involve him literally got him fired.
Yep.
And not only that, but yeah, they were inadequate on offense, but it wasn't it wasn't his fault.
It wasn't play calling.
So Gabe Davis, wide open, right in his hands, just drops it right through his hands, right to a defender. Interception. That's not on Josh Allen either. That's right on the right receiver. Pretty sure there was another one where that exact same thing happened, another drop, and it's just like, what? Why is this happening? And I don't know. Josh Allen, I mean, yeah, he's got to protect football better, but I feel like his receivers are not helping him out. And a lot of times, not only are they not helping him out, but it's causing a turnover in the process, and that's not good. So I don't know if Ken Dorsey should have really been fired, but the Bills don't look good. I think we were talking about this last week with Sean McDermott. I don't know, guys. I don't think he's one of those good coaches. I just don't. I don't know. The Bills don't look good, but
no, they don't.
There's a lot of season left. It's only Week 11 coming up here. What are they, 5-4?
5-5, I think.
5-5, yeah. I think
5-5 now. Okay, so They got the New York Jets coming up here. They got to string together some victories, but right now they could have been the worst team in this division if it weren't for Aaron Rodgers' injury. I mean, they're not. I mean, well, I guess besides the New England Patriots, never mind.
Right, yeah. They're
about
basement dwellers.
But
yeah,
they'll be third out of the three teams. I mean, I'm just not impressed.
Yep, I totally agree with what you're saying there. I think it's crazy. It seems like they're just trying to pin it all on Ken Dorsey and make him the scapegoat in the situation, just like you said, Trav. But I think the part that's really crazy about it is I don't think anyone would blame him if you look at the team and how they're executing this year. it just seems like they're forcing things. It seems like Josh Allen isn't playing as well, simply
Mm-hmm.
put. They're inconsistent, and inconsistency to me is part preparation, but it's also part execution on the players. And I feel like the players aren't consistent for the Bills this year. You could
Right.
look across the board, everyone you named, whether it's Josh Allen or Gabe Davis or even Stephon Diggs, haven't performed the levels they have in the past, and that's what you see in a 500 team.
Right.
Now they have the capacity, I think, to be a great team, and there's a lot of season left. But unfortunate for Ken Dorsey, and hope he does land another gig because I thought he did a really good job in past years, and obviously it just didn't work out this year for them. And it is interesting though with McDermott, and then you have Brian Gable in New York, kind of the same situations where last year they were both really, NFL coaches of the year type nominees, and this year their teams are really struggling. So that's the NFL. There's a lot of parity, but when things don't go right, this is what happens. So,
And then how about Stephon Diggs' brother, Trayvon, posting, we need to get that number 14 out of Buffalo. He needs to leave. Like, why do you got to tweet that stuff? Like, it's just, you can say it all you want, but why you got to tell the universe about it? Like,
Right.
it's not a good look. Stop it. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that they would say something like that. It seems like a very Diggs family kind of thing where they like have to talk a lot and be heard. Like Diggs, I thought he deleted his Twitter like last year, and then all of a sudden he's back this year tweeting again. So I was like before it was like just a bunch of hate on him, so that's why he deleted it, and then he came back and this year and he's back tweeting again. But I'm curious what Diggs' situation is next year. I just think it's almost like is it Buffalo's time? Is Buffalo done? Like is their window closing kind of thing? And I know that's been a very popular question since the game. And yeah, I do think that. I think people are getting older now on that team. It's just getting smaller and smaller. Unfortunately, you go there, you try to get James Cook. You hope he's going to be something. And god damn, does that guy fumble the ball a lot? He fumbled the ball 1 point that game, and luckily enough, it bounced right back into his arms, and he was able to keep going. But it's like most of the time, the luck doesn't swing that way for him. So I think it's they're getting to be sad, a sad team almost.
First play of the game, they have a completion, and he just gets the ball ripped right out of his hands. Like, what? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, what a tone setter right there.
It's hard to beat yourself.
Yeah. So moving on. I say we just get into some games, shall we? And then we got a stat of the day for you that Winch is going to do, but we're going to save that until when we get to the game. Packers versus Steelers. History had shown, Travis brought up last week that Packers in Pittsburgh haven't beaten the Steelers since like 1970 or something. You said long as time. So we went with that narrative with our picks, and Trav, give me your takeaways from that game.
There was some good and there was some bad once again, but overall, first things first, we're going to talk about Jordan Love here. I mean, he was 21 of 40, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. 1 pick, we're not going to really count because it was at the end of the game, just trying to make a play. Not really going to count that one. It was a 71.8 QBR. But overall, I felt like he made some really, really good throws, and I was like, that's the guy I thought he was going to be. And then there's still those throws where I'm like, dude, throw the ball a little better. Yeah, the guy might have been able to catch it, but throw the ball a little bit better, and he easily catches it, and he's running with the ball. I mean, but overall, I was encouraged by his effort. I thought he did some good things, and I know 21 of 40 isn't great for accuracy-wise, but again, I feel like this offense sometimes they're just not cohesive. Like, he's thinking they're going to do something, and they're doing another thing, and then he throws it, and then it's behind him, and it's just, I don't know. Next thing, I think Devontae Wicks, Romeo Dobbs, and Jaden Reed are all better than Christian Watson. At this point right now, I think they're all better than him. What has Christian Watson shown me? That he can catch one pass a game and get hurt? And he drops about 3 a game? In that game again, third down, it was third and 7, and he's wide open, tries to make the catch, and he's going to go upfield and just drops it. You can't do that. And people can be like, well, they're young. No, I don't care if you're fucking 15 years old. You should catch that football. I don't care how young you are, how old you are. That is an easy catch. If you're in the NFL, you should catch the ball. And he just doesn't do it. And what is high pointing the ball? I thought this guy was supposed to be a 6'4", fucking big fucking guy, and I don't see him going to high point a ball. I see him just wait for the ball to try to get to him, and then the defender hits it away and interception. Oh, okay. I don't understand it. And then he got his whole family on Twitter just coming after Green Bay Packer fans because we're all mad at him, and they just don't know how to accept criticism and realize I don't hate him, but he ain't playing like a second-round pick, top second-round pick at that. It wasn't like a late second-round pick. This was a top pick. We traded up to go get him, and he ain't showing much right now. And I get it. Devontae Adams did the same. Well, he ain't no Devontae Adams. He's never going to be. Okay? Just like Jordan Love's never going to be Aaron Rodgers. This is just not going to happen. So I don't even want to hear that comparison anymore with people. And then last thing, my rant of the day. Number 81 for the Green Bay Packers. His name is Josiah DeGuara. That man should never play another fucking snap for the Green Bay Packers. There was a play in that game where Anders Carlson was kicking a field goal. This dude was out there blocking. Well, I don't think he was actually not blocking. He just stood there, let a guy run right past him, and then he just blocked the kick. Literally didn't move. Didn't touch him, basically. What? Why are you on this team? You don't do anything right in the first place, and then you put effort out like that? Get the fuck off the team. I don't know how he's on the fucking team. Appalling. If you guys want to check it out, it'll be on Twitter. We'll post it. But it is one of the worst plays I've ever seen by an NFL player. Literally no effort. I don't know if he was sleeping. He forgot where he was. I don't know. But oh my God, that was pathetic.
We were waiting for that one. Yeah. Travis said he was going to bring that up. He wanted to pull up some video. But we can't do that, unfortunately, because some NFL
Copyright
rights there. Yeah, copyright issues there. So, yeah, it'll be on the Twitter or the X. Still not used to saying that, but yeah, man, I didn't really watch much of that game. I just caught the end score of it and was like, "Yep, I got that pick right." So I was pretty pumped about that.
I forgot one other thing.
Yeah,
the refs again,
dude,
come in and ruin the game. The Packers won the game if they call one of these plays differently. There was a lateral in the game where Pickett threw to the running back, clear backward pass. They called it a forward pass. They reviewed it. Clear backward pass. Still went and said the play stood. Clear as day. If you guys know Kirk Bedenkert, he posted on his Twitter. Go take a look at that. It is literally, he draws the line. It is one of the worst calls I've ever seen. And they got to review it, and they still went with the same call. Why do we have review if you don't make changes when you can clearly see what is happening?
I wonder if that's part of like the refs' performance evaluation kind of thing at the end of the year, where they just look at like the numbers of like, this is the plays that or the calls that you made. The ones that were reviewed, they either stood or, were reversed or whatever. And based on that, they get that score, and it's just black and white. It's either it was right or it was wrong to them. They don't look at evidence. They don't do anything. They're just like, yep, I'm right. Let's move forward.
I gotta say,
no one can do anything about it.
I don't know if it's just a lack of people wanting to go into that industry, but I would say over the last few years, the refs across football in general have been horrendous. There's been a lot of these situations. I brought it up earlier this year with the Miami Georgia Tech game where there was 3 calls late. I tweeted one out if you guys want to check it out this week. Miami played Florida State this weekend. I don't know what a safety even is in football anymore. Because it happened twice to them this year where they literally tackled the quarterback in the end zone. No single part of the body was out of the end zone twice, and neither one was called a safety.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's not, and it's the same thing in the Packers game. I know exactly what you're talking about, Travis. It's just, I don't know.
Literally a touchdown for the Packers if
Yeah.
they call it
I
a
don't
ladder.
know why. Like, I don't know if it needs to be a rapid fan reaction that can overturn these calls, but it's like, how are you that fucking? How do you miss it? You're looking at the same thing I'm looking at, and it's clear. Like in the Miami game, if motherfuckers in the end zone, how? I don't know how it's not safety.
Rigged.
It's
Yeah.
like that's
Rigged.
literally what it leads to. Then the Miami's head coach in the game, that he asked for an explanation, and I loved his answers. Like, I got none. I got no fucking answer. He literally said that. He was just pissed as could be, and I'm like, how do you explain it? Same thing with the Packers is how do you explain those calls? It's
Right.
sad. I really feel like it is rigged at times like that, like because they want certain teams to win, But something's got to change with the refs. Like I do like these quick replays they do. They have gotten, I will give them credit there. They have gotten better at those where it's like, yeah, that was blatantly missed, or like, okay, quick flip. But then there's some like that one. I'm just like, how do you take the time to slow down and look at this? Maybe you fucked it up the first time, but on replay, this is what you see. Yeah,
Trashola.
Yep. It's pretty disgusting. The like the Chiefs Vikings game, that one had 4 missed calls on the last play. No like reversed pass interference call. The taking the helmet off, which would have been a penalty for anyways.
Put your helmet back on. Put your helmet back on.
Yeah, like the what they do to Kirk too? Didn't they fuck him up too? Like it was like illegal hands to the face. Like I was like, where are you guys looking? Any of you during this play? Were you just staring up at the ball? Like, yeah, I think it's gonna be in bounds. What are you looking at? I just didn't. I agree with you. It's been fucking terrible. I see it in every single game where there seems to be at least one call that's blatantly, obviously the other way, and it's, I don't know, it's an issue that the NFL is not prioritizing for who knows why. Just ridiculous.
One call, that's all. McGruber.
Going into the Vikings-Saints game, this started off really hot for the Vikings, going up 27-3 in a half. I was like, holy shit, this is the biggest blowout ever. Then Danielle Hunter comes in and ruins the whole game for the Vikings. He goes and fucks up their car. So Jameis Winston has to come in, and Jameis Winston somehow throws 2 touchdowns, and thank God he's Jameis Winston, throws 2 picks to seal the win for the Vikings. But that second half of that game for the Vikings, disgusting. Like nothing happened offensively, just terrible. Letting the Saints just chew up the entire second half. It was their ball the entire time. And when they did get it, they weren't doing anything. Like Josh Jacobs was proven to be mobile in that game. He had that rushing touchdown. Very impressive. His pocket awareness was, I think, just pure luck. I don't think any way you would know that, hey, there's not a guy that I'm going to slam right into for how many 180s he took and ran that direction. Did it 4 times in that one play. And you're like, dude, how are you not just slammed right now? So yeah, the first half of that, very impressed by the Vikings. More injuries happened. Just absolutely crazy. Was it even Hicks? I think Hicks, I can't remember what happened exactly to his leg, but enough where they're thinner at linebacker now, where they re-signed Anthony Barr to the practice squad at least. So I'm like, oh, that's crazy, but cool. I think when he's healthy, he is a good player, but just the health concerns were an issue. So that's a plus. But other than that, I think we're still got to take it week by week with this team right now. Minnesota's expected to have Jefferson back this week. So I think that's going to be a huge plus.
Needs him, baby. They
need him. Same. So I think that's going to be huge. Hawkinson went off. He had a great game, 100 and whatever fucking yards and a touchdown. And that guy had bruised ribs. Just was getting beat up, and what a dog for what he helped accomplish in that game. Addison was fairly quiet. But yeah, like I said, it was, I don't know, it was bittersweet victory just because of that second half was so just like classic Vikings. This is gonna be a 1-score win now, even though we were winning by 3 scores. Just terrible. So with that being said, I think the next week, especially against the Broncos, the surprising Broncos, let's transition into that one. Broncos versus Bills. We briefly got into it based off the Ken Dorsey conversation, but the drama that happened at the end of that game, and the fact that the Broncos have won 3 in a row, I believe now, and they've won against the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Packers. And have they made that turn? Has it changed? I mean, are they still that team that got blown out 70 to 20 or whatever? What is their who are they?
I just feel like when I watch them play, they're not playing good. Like that Monday night game was horrible to watch. That was an awful game.
It was, but unfortunately, it was the best primetime game.
Then I saw the Denver Broncos play against the Green Bay Packers. That was not a fun game to watch either for either team.
Right.
And the Packers almost pulled it out somehow, and Denver still pulled it out. And it was still just like, would I look at Denver and go, man, they've turned a corner? No. I don't know. The Chiefs game, sure, that was a good one. Yeah, I mean, that was a good one, I guess, but I'm not really impressed with, I guess, most teams right now.
Their level of competition wasn't the highest, I guess. Yeah, if that's what you're getting at, I think what you're getting at.
Yeah, and I just don't think the Bills are very good either. I think they're I don't know, man. I'm just seeing a lot of incompetence from players, from coaches, and I'm gonna fucking beat this to like a dead horse. I'm just gonna keep doing it and keep doing it. I think the amount of practice, or the limited amount of practice they have, is really hindering this sport. And you know what I heard on the radio today when I was coming home from golf? Oh, Matt LaFleur today decided to give everybody the day off and not want pads, so they decided to just cut practice short because we need them in their mental game to be better. I'm just, why are we so soft? And I just think that's what that leads to. But back to the Bronco question, I don't think they've turned a corner. I think they're still not good.
Yeah, I think they're a 500 type team. I mean, I think they've improved since last year. Kind of addition by subtraction. If you look, since they've unloaded some of the like Randy Gregory and et cetera that they probably shouldn't have signed or paid. But yeah, Cortland Sutton had a ridiculous catch in that game.
Mm-hmm.
That was impressive, but Bills should have won. I mean, let's be truthful. If you had every opportunity to do that in that game, and yeah, they didn't. So, but back to your Vikes, Lee, 5 in a row.
Yep, 5 in a row, 6 of the last 7.
Out of the NFL.
Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs.
The Browns are kicking themselves right now.
The Pastronaut. Yeah, the Browns. Dude, yeah. His journey is just, lucky enough for the Vikings to have him.
He was on the Titans last year, too, wasn't he? Didn't he play for them for a little while?
I believe you're right. Yeah, I think it was him.
Why doesn't anybody want him?
He's like Steelers, Titans, Browns, Cardinals. Yeah, I don't know. I think everyone, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I want to think it's like pay or something, and it's like, is he getting paid more than what the next guy is? And they're just like, he's better, but not better enough to pay him this much more. I don't know.
He's the best back in the league, so they're just like, yep, we'll trade every time if someone needs him, we'll just trade.
We'll get a 6-rounder for him every time. We love 6-round picks. Yeah, I don't know, man. And then the Vikings quarterback depth chart is just getting weirder by the day. There's always someone dropping up and down, and I'm like, man, I just hope it's Jaron Hall as a backup to Dobbs, and like those guys stay healthy the rest of the year, because wow, is it some bad guys.
Let me
yeah,
ask you.
yeah.
Wait. So Justin Jefferson's been hurt for 5 straight games, and you guys have won 5 straight games.
Yeah.
Would you entertain the possibility
No.
of trying to get King's ransom for Justin Jefferson
No.
since you guys can win games without him?
No. Nope. Because
Not-
we're barely winning these games.
Take your jersey purchase away and let me know. What do you think? Take your feelings out of it here.
If they were stuck in a contract with like Kyler Murray or like Daniel Jones, I would say yeah, because it's like you're fucked. So you might as well make the best out of what you can get out of it. But the fact that they have cap space next year, like Kirk potentially could come back. I think Kirk would take a pretty big pay cut. One, just for the fact that he likes Minnesota so much, and 2, he was injured this year, and 3, like he understands to win the big shit, the big game, to make those sacrifices now. I think he's willing to do that more this year than he ever would be. And if not, I think there's other options out there for quarterback as well. So I don't think it's like a full rebuild kind of thing. You know what I mean? I think you're full rebuild if you are screwed at quarterback and have no idea what to do, and you need just everything. And the Vikings defense has been ranked fairly high in almost every category this year. They've made just a massive jump. So I think the writing's on the wall that we don't need to make a drastic move like that. And yeah, I think
I bet you a first and a second.
I want more than that even, but I'm greedy as shit. But yeah, like, because basically it's like, well, you spend a first on them, so then you're gonna take the risk that the first that you get again is gonna be as good as that, and second round you're hoping is half as good as that. You know, it's just chances of that are none. I
had to ask the question because
it's valid. It's a good question.
Cowherd.
Yeah,
I feel like trade value for players in the NFL is dog shit.
Yeah, it is.
You can
it's
like
terrible.
trade a guy and he's like, wow, like who just Chase Young. Was he third?
Yeah, I think he got a third rounder for him.
Third round pick, yeah.
I mean, I get it, guy's been hurt, but he's also one of the best pass rushers.
Pick overall.
Yeah, it's like, and he's like 24, 25. It's like,
yeah,
bro. I mean, you cannot find third round picks that look like he does. So, right. I mean, I just don't. Some of these trades I don't understand, but that's the NFL.
Yeah, especially the trade deadline ones. It seems like they're just so little value, and which I get. Like, you're trading someone for a partial contract. You know, you're getting for the limited amount of time, so that value is there. But yeah, for Justin Jefferson about to get the bag, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know. But I don't think the Vikings are at that stage where they need to make that change.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Dobbs rides it out and comes back as their quarterback.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, if Dobbs has success, and this is all to a T, the 2017 year with
they'll
Case
treat
Keenum.
Him and kick him out.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we have Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Bradford, and Case Keenum, all free agents at the end of the year. That's exactly what we're looking like again in Minnesota. So it's like, who's the next Kirk Cousins that's going to come in for the Vikings and get paid? You know what I mean? It's like, that is so far down the road for me, where I had no idea what to expect. And with the newer GM and coach and their mindsets, I feel like I still don't know what they're looking to do entirely. Especially Kwesi. He's not a GM that I fully understand his moves. I think he came in like that first year, that first pick in the first round, and fucked up royally with Lewis Seen, because that guy's like a healthy scratch almost every fucking week. Like, it's terrible, the fact that you waste a first round pick on a guy like that. But then he goes and gets Addison this year, and Addison's absolute stud. So you're like, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. They say they want Kirk back, so that's what I'm expecting to happen. So, all right, let's move on. Texas versus the Bengals. Another wild game. Fun to
No, it wasn't
watch.
the game of the week, but
What's that?
so it was kind of like the game of the week, but then I forgot about the Chargers Lions.
Yeah, we had some really good games. What are your guys' standout points for that game? Like, what are your high
CJ
standalone
Stroud
moments?
is a fucking
Animal.
man amongst boys.
Mhm.
He is him, and I am totally sold on him. The first quarterback in Ohio State history to be good in the NFL.
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. That dude, yeah, he might make some mistakes, but man, that guy, best rookie maybe I've ever seen.
His collectiveness at the end of that game to just like, what was it? Tank Dell had a drop, and then to just keep his composure and still just throw absolute dimes to people, not get flustered in the pocket whatsoever.
Yeah, you look at
Impressive.
who he's throwing to, too. It's not like, I mean,
Yeah.
Tank Dell, rookie, and Noah Brown.
Brown.
It's like he's making these guys look excellent, which is impressive. I'm totally with Travis. I'll be the first to stand up here and admit I was wrong about him at this point. I mean, I yeah, good for him. I think he has a very bright future, and I love watching him play. Nothing else I can say is that Texans team is fun. Like them a lot. So hope they continue it. And the Bengals played well enough to win the game. They had their opportunities. Tyler Boyd dropping that touchdown really hurt them.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean they're on a roll too. I think they're fine. Nothing that they need to change up or do differently. What I think is also impressive too with the Texans that doesn't get talked about enough is their defense. Obviously, Ryans was a linebacker in the NFL, but where they were last year to where they are this year, that defense has made a huge jump. Bengals offense is obviously very explosive. I just think they make plays when they need to, and it's a good team. I think they're gonna challenge for the AFC South. We'll see. So
Another thing with CJ Stroud, just listening to him speak though, he gets it. Even when he was on College Game Day or the Fox, he was on. It was College Game Day. When I was listening to him talk about shit, man, I would say he had an A+ interview if he went into those NFL interviews. I bet you had an A+. I don't know how. The Carolina Panthers look bad right now, man, for not taking him. Not gonna lie, because I know it's early, but Bryce Young don't look like he's it either. He don't look that great. He looks too small.
the big
Little
problem
inaccurate.
they gave up a lot for him too.
Yes, they did. And
You really wonder. You sit there and wonder now. Would imagine what you could have done with that pick, even if you didn't take Stroud, you took someone else, and then this year you had the chance at Caleb or someone,
Right.
Yeah, I they're gonna look back at that one and regret it.
Now I have a question for you guys. So I was driving home, I think yesterday or the day before, and a guy was chirping about the Bengals, and he said that he doesn't think they're that good of a team, and that they're 5-4, and he doesn't think they're going to make the playoffs. And I'm like, hey, buddy, do you know that they've been 5-4 the last 3 years? And let's see here. First year they went to the Super Bowl, and then last year they went to the AFC Championship game, and now this year. So how are you going to write them off? Yeah. I don't get that. Like, I still think the Bengals are pretty good. Joe Burrow had some bad mistakes, but in my opinion, I think the Bengals will be right there at the end.
Yep.
What do you guys
think? 100% agree.
Yeah, they've had quite a lot of injuries this year too.
Yeah,
they haven't been able to keep the same team on the field. But Burrow's starting to heat up, and he is obviously the one that drives the ship there. So as long as he stays healthy, I think they'll be fine. I think their run game is not as good as it's been in years past.
Right.
Mixon was elite in that Super Bowl run 2 years ago. I mean, he had a great playoffs. He hasn't played as well this year, but doesn't mean they can't. I think they have all the makings. They're right, to your point, right where they were the last 2 years, and I foresee them being right in that mix at the end of the year.
D'Amico Ryans, coach of the year, dude. Calling it.
He's put himself in a great spot.
Absolutely. Next game I want to get into the 49ers versus the Jaguars. Jaguars were looking to be super hot, and then they get their absolute doors blown off by the 49ers, who weren't looking so hot. For the last few weeks. So, yeah, hats off. I mean, we picked the 49ers to win this game anyways, but I did not think it'd be to this extent. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I knew the Niners needed a win, so I was on the Niners. My buddy in our circuit picked Jaguars, but that's okay. We'll get them next week. We went 3-2 in that, by the way. But the Niners showed who they really still are. I never thought they wouldn't be. Just because they lost 3 in a row, I still knew who they were. They still got that ferocious defense. They got the offense that'll do it when they need to. And I think Brock Purdy came back and answered the critics' questions very well in this game.
He's got Debo back too.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Big time.
I mean that's huge for him. He's got all of his weapons now in full swing, and man, the Jaguars their offense do not do anything in that game.
Trevor Lawrence, what are thoughts? Thoughts on him?
Inconsistent.
Yeah.
Has he been a number one pick so far?
I'd say yeah. He's Carson.
I think that's so hard to say though. Like there's so many, like the expectation for first round or first overall pick quarterback is just
so
through the
high.
Roof, and it's like it's failed more times than it's succeeded. I mean, look at like the Mariota, right? He was first over Winston, right? Like that you looked at hindsight 2020. That's fucking awful, both of them. So it's just that's too hard to me. I think you're a quarterback's only first overall because that team fucking needs a quarterback, and you were told that you're going to be picked in top 10.
Yeah, but Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be the first pick overall for about 4
because he fucking never lost before. But what a dumb fucking stat that is, though. Like, oh, he's never lost. So you never played in the NFL either.
Yeah.
People say that all the time. You're not playing against the hardest people.
I mean, he has every trait you want. He's a I'm sure all the players love playing with him too. Like he's your prototypical quarterback. There's no way they would go back and not pick him. He's above average first overall pick, I would say. Because you look, I mean, Sam Bradford was a first overall pick. Jamarcus Russell's a first overall pick. I mean, there's Baker. Yeah. There's a good handful that you're like, he's not that.
Yeah.
He's a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. I think he can be great, but he's just too inconsistent. That's his problem.
I might have a little more bias and why I'm a little more harsh on him because I picked him in fucking 2 fantasy leagues and he sucks. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's not been doing great for that.
Trash. Jordan Love has been the better player in fantasy football every week.
Yeah, like I mean, if you're basing on that, Sam Howell's having a MVP year.
But I mean, Jordan somehow gets 20 points a game. I look over and I'm like, man, you know that? 20 points. Oh, 20 points. Oh, 20.
That'll help. Last game, Lions, right? Lions, Chargers.
Yeah, Lions, Chargers. We got
game of the week.
Yeah, game of the week. Exciting.
That was fun football to watch.
Mm-hmm. Final score 41-38. Comes down to that aggressive call by Dan Campbell to go forward on 4th down. Like
4th and 5.
We love it. That sounds right. I can't remember exactly, but and they showed a press conference that he did, post-game press conference that he did a while ago when not going for it on 4th down. And you could tell like he regretted not being aggressive then. So when it came back to this moment, it was like, yeah, we're gonna do it. Like we want the ball in our hands last, and we're gonna be aggressive. And I think that speaks to his kind of mentality in general to be more aggressive every chance that you can get. So it's like it just picture perfect, and it worked out. And I think that's what makes MCDC so lovable.
There was a play in that game too. Early on in the game, it was like 4th and 5 again, because it was the teams were combined 7 out of 8 on 4th downs for this game, and it was a 4th and 5, and they were like on like the 40, 35 maybe, and they decided to go for it. Not only do they go for it, but he runs the fucking ball on 4th and 5 and gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, wow, that takes balls.
he saw something. Yep.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a win and a great game by both sides. Honestly, we always rip on Staley, but he also called a good game plan there.
He did.
Give them the kudos where they deserve it, but that's a typical Chargers loss at the same time, losing these types of games.
The problem with Staley, though, his defense. That's his,
That's
right?
supposed to be
His
his
defense
bread and
is
butter.
his, right? And he's giving up 41 points.
Yeah, and
Like,
it's like
always.
it's like huge holes for these running backs. I mean, I'd love to be in Detroit running behind that offensive line.
Sorry to interrupt you, but did you guys hear a little rumor about this, what Dan Orlovsky said on Pat McAfee's show, I believe it was?
What, about him going to Texas?
Belichick? Well, no. It was like, so they believe the Patriots and Belichick have mutual interests to separate at the end of this year. And it was like, hey, you think if he could pick a team? And it was like Chargers. Like, basically straight up said it's going to be the Chargers. So I think it's I don't know if it's behind closed doors or what, but if Belichick goes to the Chargers, I'd be very interested in what that's going to look like, because that might be honestly one of his most decorated teams roster-wise ever.
Yeah, that team is loaded if they got the right coach.
It is just a rumor, so don't.
Yeah.
Well, but see, Bill would come in and go, I don't need an offensive coordinator. I'm too smart. I don't need any of that. And then he'd fuck everything up.
Yeah. But at least he probably wouldn't make a bonehead call at the end of the game every single week.
That's true.
I don't know.
This is true.
And his defense would never give up 41.
Right.
So where's this rumor coming from? Like, how does legs? Is it real? Like,
that's what I don't know. It was like almost like a slip up by Dan Orlovsky in that interview, where he was kind of like stumbling out of his words. I wish I could play it, but yeah, I'll retweet it after the podcast here. But yeah, it was basically them asking like, oh, is there like a wish list or like eyes on another team kind of thing? And Orlovsky was like, well, and then one of them, I can't remember who it was like, I think it might have been Boston Connor, was like Chargers, and he's like, like he like caught him like off guard, like, yeah, how the fuck did you guess that kind of thing? But yeah, it was, I don't know where the team came from. I didn't catch the entire interview to get all the context for it, but yeah, that was that's kind of the rumor around. I even heard Dan Patrick talking about it today, about that interview and kind of stumbling up there. So I was like, maybe it does have legs then, if freaking Dan Patrick willing to talk about it. But yeah, curious. And I'm curious what that team would look like. I think that'd be interesting. But I also, very much to your point, Travis, I don't know what that offense would look like. That might not be as great as it could be. But, well, hopefully he doesn't bring Bill O'Brien with him.
He'll bring Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, probably.
Bringing the gang back together.
We need to trade Justin Herbert. I really like.
We need to get Jimmy Garoppolo.
We need to get Jimmy G in here. I think in this system with this roster, I think he'd really succeed. Bill would be like, "Get the fuck out of here." Yeah. So that wraps up our highlighted games of the week. We got some new music for y'all, folks, here to get us to our next segment. So yes, the power rankings, folks. Yeah, I tried to make that like Power Rangers, and it was very hard to do that. So that's the best I got out of it. Anywho,
rankings,
power rankings. All right, so number 5, I got the Bengals. Moving down a spot for me. I don't want to take them out. They're definitely a top 5 team to me. But just for the sake of where I had to move some teams around and that loss, giving up that final drive to CJ Stroud, let him do what he did in such a little amount of time. Excuse me. That knocked him down. Number 4, I got the Ravens moving down 2 spots to number 4. That is no real slight against them. Once again, I just think the Chiefs are the most number 3 team. I think I've had the Chiefs at number 3 for like 4 or 5 straight weeks. Can't move them up, can't move them down. Chiefs are the Chiefs. And number 2, I got the Lions moving up 4 spots here. Very impressed with what they do week in and week out. Once again, I think they can beat anybody. I looked ahead at their schedule for the rest of the year. They could win out easily. So they could be 15-2 at the end of the year, and it would not surprise me a bit. And then finally, the Eagles, still number 1 from last week. Got to give them their respect. They're just doing what they do. Even though they had a bye, right? Or am I going crazy? They had a bye, but they have no reason to get off of that horse. I'm definitely not going to ever knock them until they show otherwise. And like I said, their schedule super easy still, super easy. What do you guys got for your power rankings?
Well, I got the same top 3 as you, so I'll start with that. Let's speed it up. Eagles, number 1 team in the NFL right now, most consistent week in and week out. And I'll leave it at that. Lions, their schedule is pretty damn easy, you're right, Lee. They also I think, are the best running team in the NFL. And I like
that dual threat.
That's always a good recipe for success. Chiefs are exactly who they are. Just going to coast along till the playoffs get here, and then try and turn it on. My 4th and 5th spots are different. I have the 49ers back in my top 5 at the 4th spot. I think they're the most talented team on my list still. I will say that until they get knocked out or win the Super Bowl. And then the last one is the Ravens. Didn't come out with the victory, but I still think they could argue as they've had the best start to this season so far up until this point. Lamar's right in the MVP race, and that's going to be a very competitive AFC South.
Yeah, I got the San Francisco 49ers coming back into the top 5 for me at number 5. Complete game last week showed us, again, who they are. So like them at number 5. Number 4, I got the Lions this week coming back into my top 5. I really like the way they're playing. They're 7-2. This is the first time in a very, 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 very long time they've been 7-2. I really see them being able to go 9-2, and then they could have a chance to get a first-round bye, folks. Look out. And then we got number 3. We got the Ravens. I know they lost last week, but against a good Browns team and against that good defense, I look for the Ravens to actually bounce back this week. I'm a little foreshadowing right here, but Ravens at number 3. At number 2, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. They're just steady Eddie, like you said. They're gearing up for the playoffs. They're getting ready for their Super Bowl run for the 10th time in like 10 years. So Chiefs will be there at the end as well. And then my number 1 team is Fly, Eagles Fly, Philadelphia Eagles. They've done nothing to not support this right now. Now, this week we do have the Eagles and Chiefs playing each other. So this is going to give us a little more jockeying position for them to see where they are next week on the power rankings. Interested to see how that game goes. And it's probably the game of the week next week. So looking forward to it. 1 and 2 in the power rankings going against each other, folks. Game
Exciting.
of the week.
Hell yes. Hell yes. And that takes us into our next segment, folks. More music. Crank it up. You gotta jump in.
I love
That's
it.
right. That's right. We got no Pick'em's music, folks. That one is subject to change.
Hell
We had
no.
some other ideas.
Beastie Boys. Or in this case, Beastie Boy.
Yeah, I'm just a lone boy here. Last week pulled off some good picks for me, boys. I got 10. You guys each got 10. So I was able to separate myself just a little bit. Travis and I were previously tied, so that brings me to the top with 96. Trav 94 and Winch 90. So we're still pretty tight here. Getting to the second half of the season. Winch did not believe in my Minnesota Vikings. And I got you, buddy. That got you. And then you fools both picked the New York Jets over the Raiders. And I got you. there. I'm just kidding. I was not. I didn't have any faith in either one of those teams, so I just got lucky on that one. Other than that, I think it's a solid week for us. Upcoming though in this week, key games or key teams on buys. We got the Falcons on a bye, Saints, Patriots, and Colts. So unlike last week where we had a lot of good teams, we got a lot of bad teams on buys this week. So we're not missing out with their absence. So let's get into week 11 picks. We're going to jump right into I got the wrong things. Thursday night football right off the bat. We got the Bengals in Baltimore against the Ravens. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch. Fingers crossed, just because of Amazon on Thursday night seems to always get duds. I hope this is a high scoring game, but two good teams. I think the Ravens at home are going to have this edge. I really want to see Lamar ball out. Let's dial back the turnovers, I would say. But yeah, I'm going to take the Ravens. What do you boys got?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that high scoring of a game, Lee. It's a Thursday night game.
I know.
The division game.
Hope.
They are not going to score a ton. It's going to be like a 23-20 type of game. Both of these teams need it. They're both coming off a loss. Cincinnati probably needs it a little bit more, but I like Baltimore at home on short rest here to get the victory against the Bengals. But I think it'll be a pretty good game. It's not going to be the scoring game like you think, but it's going to be a good game, 23-20, something like that.
It will be a good game. I think they both need it. As to both of your points, for some reason, I feel like the Bengals are going to win this game to keep that division even tighter than it is. Because if they lose this one, they're going to be hurting to make up the ground against Baltimore and Pittsburgh now. I don't see them falling to 5-5 for that reason. I think they need it. They squeak one out. I'll give them 24-20.
I think that the Ravens have owned the Bengals for a little while here. Is that am I tripping?
No, they're I don't know what their record is lately.
I used to have an easier way of seeing that. I used to have those previous matchups, and now I can't find them anymore.
Let's see. The Ravens won, which is right, 24. So
I guess they're 3-3 in their last 6. I mean, I don't know.
Oh,
it's kind of a wash here.
Yeah.
Baltimore owned them in 2019 through 2021, but I mean, yeah. This is a pivotal game. This has to be the best division in NFL.
At Baltimore, though, they don't look as good. Yeah, they have lost at Baltimore 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it's a hard place to play.
Yeah, that was basically my biggest takeaway is just the fact that it's in Baltimore. I kind of want to talk. Well, let's do the pick for Pittsburgh at Cleveland, just because of the fact that the Browns now without Watson, they're going to start rookie. Was it Donovan Peoples-Jones? Is that right?
Yep.
Why does that sound?
No,
weird?
not Donovan Peoples.
No, Donovan.
Darian Thompson-Robinson.
Darian Thompson. Yeah, whatever. That's all I was like. That does not sound right.
Peoples got traded.
Yeah. Yeah, against the Steelers. So, yeah, same divisional matchup here. This one is interesting. I think a lot of people still picking the Browns over this one. Browns are good, but I don't know. With that rookie, it doesn't seem like that's enough to get over the hump, to get past Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh is such a, I don't know, they're a quieter, successful team, but there's still nothing to be excited about.
Worst 6 team I've ever seen.
Yeah, right. It's like they're still getting wins. Classic Mike Tomlin, team. And we're just like, God, this team looks fucking terrible. Just nothing to be exciting about. This one was probably the toughest one for me to pick wise. But I think I was going to give the edge just to the Browns, just because of the fact that I think their team in general, I think is just better on every side of the ball. But yeah, the quarterback is questioned. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cleveland just for the sole fact they're at home again, and then Pittsburgh just coming off that win. They're 6-3 riding high. I think they need to lose a game here. So odds are in the Cleveland's favor, I believe.
Back-to-back lone wolves for me. I'm gonna take the Steelers. I don't know how any rookie QB does well against that defense. And I just foresee a few turnovers. I don't foresee the Steelers scoring many points on offense. Their defense might put up, a nice 14-pointer or something. And they win a low. It's going to be a low scoring game, 20-16. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't turn it on. Next game, we want to get into the LA Chargers in Green Bay against them Packers. Oh boy, if this coaching, this is going to come down to coaching. This game, and I think just talent wise, I'm going to pick the Chargers over the Packers on this one. Once again, I don't think it to be a high scoring affair. Yeah, just better roster on the Chargers, I'd say.
I think the Los Angeles Chargers are going to come in here and kind of whoop the Packers. I really do. I think they're going to score some points. We're not really going to score a lot of points. We're going to score like 17, and they're going to score like 30. So give me the Chargers 30-17. I know we're not doing scores, but it's not going to be a pretty game, I don't think, for the Packers. It's just they just have too much firepower for us to hang with.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all in agreement. I had a similar score. I was going to say 28-20. I think it's Herbert gets his own, and they pick up a win after that hard loss last week.
All right, next game we want to do, man, oh man. What were we thinking? Buccaneers 49ers? I don't know. Is that the one that we want to do, or do you want to just go Jets and Bills?
Jets, Bills.
Jets, Bills. All right. Dude, woof, the Bills. I think the Bills rebound here. I think they have to. Just offense is just not enough to make it really competitive. But the Bills, Josh Allen leading the league right now in interceptions. Granted, yeah, significant amount of those are not his fault, but it's just that stuff's going to continue to happen. I'm still going to pick the Bills on this one just because I think they're just overall better roster. And they got that bad taste in their mouth. And I think the offensive coordinator thing is going to be iffy. I don't know. I'm curious if that. I don't think their offense is going to get better, but we'll see.
I keep picking Buffalo, and they just keep losing. And I keep saying the same shit. They just have a better roster. They just have this. They're going to win. Yeah, they got the more talent. They're just going to will themselves, and they just don't.
They don't. Yeah.
With that being said, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. Because the New York Jets don't got it. Their offense, I can't pick that offense at all.
No.
Ugh. It's hideous. Give me the Bills.
Yep, give me the Bills.
I thought you were going to go lone wolf again. I was like, you're a psycho.
If the Jets, I lost last week because of the Jets. If the Jets can't beat the fucking Raiders, I don't know how they can go into Buffalo and win. They need this win so badly. They got to get it.
All right, next game I want to get into the Vikings in Denver against the Broncos. Last time this team matched up, the Vikings were once again getting absolutely blown out at halftime. I think it was like 20-something to 0 at halftime, and the Vikings came back and won that game with Kirko Chains. However, I think the Broncos are beating better teams than the Vikings. So I'm actually going to pick the Broncos at home here. I think their defense is making enough noise, and especially the Vikings struggles in the second half last week is going to be something they're not going to be able to let happen against Denver in Denver and succeed. So oddly enough, I'm picking the Broncos here.
I am not. I am going to go with the Minnesota motherfreaking Vikings based on the fact that Justin Jefferson's coming back.
True that.
He has got some swagger going. Denver's coming off that big win against Buffalo, in Buffalo, coming back, traveling back. I just feel like it's a good spot for Minnesota to steal victory in Denver. I know they're going to probably play a one-score game because that's what Minnesota does, but
Hell yeah.
give me Minnesota to have more firepower than Denver and make a few more plays, and Russell Wilson's going to make a mistake against that Brian Flores defense.
God, I hope you're right. That sounds like a fun game to watch.
I forgot. Speaking of Russ, I forgot to share the stat earlier.
Yes.
Stat of the week here.
Stat of the week.
So Russell Wilson through 9 games this year has 18 passing touchdowns. Through the entire 2023 or 2022 season, he had 16. So he has more passing touchdowns through 9 games than he had the entire last season.
Yep.
Just to give you some comparison, at this point last year, he had 7 touchdowns and 5 picks.
Woo.
This year, he has 18 touchdowns and 4 picks.
Mm-hmm.
That's Sean Payton effect.
Having said all that, I'm going Vikings.
Nice. I'm a lone wolf with my own team.
Man is a lone wolf right now.
I don't know. I think there's something special about what Dobbs is doing. It's just fun. I think the team's
It is
rallying
fun.
around. They're playing hard. I don't think Denver's done anything special these last 3 weeks when they've won. And Minnesota, to your point, played really well in the first half. Struggled more than they needed to in the second half. But I think they come out fast again and they get up a little early. And Denver doesn't have the firepower, I believe, to come back. So I like Minnesota to get up, 13 points or something, and then Denver have to try and work their way back. And ultimately, the Vikings hold on and win, a 20-17 type of game is what I foresee happening. And they keep the win streak going.
Hell yeah. That sounds like that. Man, I might change my pick. You guys are just so convincing. That takes us to our Monday night game, the Philadelphia Eagles in Kansas City. Another big power ranking team
rematch.
Yeah, Super Bowl rematch. This is what we're all excited for. Kelsey Bowl again. Rumor that Taylor Swift's family is going to meet the Kelsey family this game. Fucking God. Yeah, just ridiculous. And of course it's a Monday night game, standalone. Everyone's gonna be watching, just crazy, lovey-dovey drama. And this is the toughest game for the Eagles this year. And I think for a reason, the Kansas City is gonna win this game. I think Kansas City is gonna show that they are the better team when they need to turn it on. That's for sure. And it's going to be a close one. I don't know if it's going to be as high scoring as it was, for the Super Bowl, but I think it's going to be another close nail biter here. Come down to the last drive. But yeah, like I said, Kansas City, I think they get the W once again.
I, on the other hand, think that Philadelphia is coming in with some revenge on their mind. And I think they're playing better than the Chiefs. So I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game because they're playing better on both sides of the football. Defensive side of the football, Kansas City's playing pretty well. But I just look for Philadelphia to be able to score on this defense, even with them playing that well. And I think Philadelphia's going to be able to shut down KC enough with that offense that's just not right. But maybe they will surprise me. I don't know. But, yep, I'm picking against Patrick Mahomes. I don't normally do this, but give me Philadelphia.
Man, this is tough. I'll go with my gut and what I got down. I'm going to pick KC.
So here we go. Love it.
Only because Taylor Swift's going to be there, and they're undefeated. Yep. She's there, so.
Yeah.
That's true, 4-0.
Yeah.
So I know Kelsey's going to ball out, which is good for one of my fantasy teams. And I know that KC will put up some points, and their defense is playing well. So, yeah, I'm going to take KC at home in Arrowhead. I do foresee the scenario you're saying, Travis. Could easily see that play out because it often happens when they lose in the championship. The regular season rematch goes to the person who lost in the championship. It just always kind of seems to go that way in sports. Mm-hmm. But I think KC wants to come out and prove themselves, and this is maybe the stepping stone to the second half of the season for them. So, going to be a great game. Definitely game of the week, maybe game of the season. So,
I hope so, man. I hope so. This is gonna be a fun week. We got some great matchups this week for sure. think that takes us to the end here. I think we can wrap her up. Unless you guys have any other outstanding news that you want to bring up. Otherwise, it's like no on your ends. Okay, just like how Teams meeting goes at work. All right, and with that being said, I give you back 20 minutes. I'm just kidding. But anyways, thanks everyone.
Literally the same. Okay.
Thanks everyone for listening, liking, subscribing, rate and review, and sharing. Sharing is caring, guys. Really appreciate all the feedback that we hear. Travis always got a group of boys that talks about the show, and we really appreciate it. We're looking to improve every single day. We're making some changes, some adjustments, and we'll continue to do that. And for now, that's the last I heard. Peace.